Claire stood in front of the bathroom mirror, her breath catching in her throat. The faint hum of the refrigerator down the hall was the only sound in the apartment. Her reflection stared back at her exactly as it should except for the eyes. They seemed to focus, to alert, as if they were watching something just behind her. She shook her head and splashed cold water on her face. "Get it together," she muttered, forcing a dry laugh. Her fingers tightened around the edge of the sink as she avoided looking up at the mirror again. For weeks, strange things had been happening. At first, it was just a fleeting sensation of being watched. Then she started catching glimpses of something in her periphery, a figure in the mirror that didn't match her movements. The reflection would tilt its head slightly to the left when she tilted right, or blink a fraction of a second too late. She tried to tell herself it was just exhaustion, the result of too many late shifts and not enough sleep. But deep down, she knew that wasn't true. There was something wrong with the mirrors in the apartment. The sound of glass cracking broke the silence. Claire spun around, her heart racing, but the bathroom was empty. The mirror, however, now had a jagged fracture running diagonally across it. Her reflection stared back at her, its face calm and unaffected despite the break. Claire backed out of the bathroom, her bare feet making soft sounds on the hardwood floor. The hallway felt darker than usual. Every mirror she passed seemed to vibrate faintly, the glass shimmering as if it were a liquid surface ready to swallow her whole. "Claire!" The voice was soft, almost a whisper, but it came from everywhere at once. Claire froze. Her pulse thudded in her ears as she glanced at the mirror in the hallway. Her reflection stood perfectly still, even as Claire took a hesitant step forward. "Come closer," it said, lips moving in perfect synchronization with the words. Claire's breath hitched. Her own voice, twisted and distorted, echoed back at her. The reflection smiled her smile, but there was something wrong with it. It was too wide, too full of teeth. She stumbled backward, her hands searching blindly for the front door. Her eyes never left the mirror as the reflection began to move on its own, pressing its hands against the glass as though testing its strength. "You can't leave," it whispered. "You brought me here. You belong with me now." Claire finally found the door handle and wrenched it open, the rush of cold night air hitting her like a slap. She didn't stop to grab her coat or shoes, she just ran. Down the hallway, out onto the street, her breath coming in ragged gasps. The reflection's voice echoed in her mind, its final words chilling her to the bone. "I'll be waiting, Claire. You can't escape me." Weeks passed. Claire never went back to the apartment. She stayed with a friend across town, trying to convince herself it had all been a hallucination brought on by stress. But every night, as she lay in bed, she felt the pull of the mirrors, felt them calling her back. And every time she looked into a reflective surface, she swore she could see a pair of eyes watching her from just beneath the surface, waiting for her to slip up, waiting for her to come home.
Subscribe for more scary stories.